Welcome back. I'm Ryan Mumy, the CEO of Celinda Capital Management, and this is another one of our advisor tip videos. Joining me is the head of our Celinda family office, Anna Winger, CFP and Esquire. I like to always get both of them in there. And today we're going to talk about a common question that I've gotten, Anna's gotten, so we're going to talk about it is, should someone do a trust, or will a will in basic estate planning documents work? My view on this is oftentimes trusts are oversold, if you will, by law firms. They have a hammer and they see everyone as a nail, but they're not always appropriate, right? They're not always necessary. And that's where Anna and I bond over that, because she's an attorney and she agrees, right? So Anna, give us your thoughts on that. Will versus revocable trust.
Right. So, I love trusts, and that's a lot of my time is spent focusing on trusts and how they protect assets. However, it's not a given. In certain states, yes, it's malpractice not to recommend a revocable trust, but at least in North Carolina, where we live, it depends. So I've had some very large estates that were perfectly suitable for a simple will. I love you, everything passes to my wife and then to my children, 50-50. Fine. Probate is not a big hairy monster in certain counties, most counties in North Carolina. However, trusts are often important, and I need a really good reason before I recommend that. The most common reasons are privacy, to keep your documents out of the public record. Another great reason is to avoid probate. So if you do have business interests in real estate, you might want to avoid probate because it's just a pain. So funding a trust can be helpful. Continuity. I'm always looking first and foremost at my clients in front of me, more concerned about them and how they're going to care for each other during life. So I want to make sure that, if one's not thinking clearly, that the other can take over. And if the children are ready, it's a baton pass with the trustee and who's in charge of managing that.
Yeah, and sometimes it can protect people from themselves and from life circumstances, right? With trust, right? So,
That's right.
but at the same time, as Anna and I have both said, it doesn't always have to be a trust to be a well thought out, well planned estate plan. Doesn't always have to involve a trust, because trusts are more expensive to write up, generate, and oftentimes they're unnecessary. So anyways, as you're having the discussion with clients, you can't give legal advice as financial professionals, but just know that oftentimes, the example I give is my grandparents. They had 2 pensions and some railroad stock. That was it, right? And a lawyer sold them on a revocable trust plan. They didn't need it. It was very simple, right? From my vantage point, they didn't need it. And Anna's agreed with me. So that's real life example of the overuse of trust. But at the same time, we're kind of talking out of both sides of our mouth here. Trust can be immensely beneficial to the right circumstances. And this is back to having a coordinated financial and estate plan and a team working with you to help determine what's appropriate for each client's individual circumstances. But that's your advisor tip video this time. If you have any questions, you want to talk to Anna or myself about anything Celinda does, you can reach out to us at info@celinda.com, info@sollinda.com, or you can call us 844-662-1211. And as always, we appreciate you joining us.